going to love this. We have more hot dish coming up in a little bit. Welcome back. We'll get to the hot dish a little bit later, but whether it be our diets or exercising more, so many of us are always looking for ways to improve our life and lifestyle. I know that sounds cliche, but we really are, especially in this era. Our guest today is an expert on living longer. Literally. For 2 decades, Dan Buettner has traveled the world and studied blue zones. They're religions where people live well into their 80s, their 90s, into the 100s. And I think I reviewed it here on the show. I don't remember yesterday, but I loved it so much. I think I talked about it on this show. The docuseries on Netflix, all about the blue zone areas. Look at this.
What's the best tea to drink on a daily basis?
Wine.
I like the way you roll. I have found that most of what people think lead to a long, healthy life is misguided or just plain wrong. What if we could reverse engineer longevity? I spent the last 20 years trying to do just that.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. That is a trailer. I'm not kidding. The series, watch us and then end it. Go down Netflix and watch it. It's Live to 100 Secrets of the Blue Zones. It's on Netflix now. Audience, give it up for Dan Buettner. Thank you, buddy, for being here. I said it a little bit in the intro, but could you expand a little bit for people that don't know? What exactly is a blue zone? Let's start there.
So the idea was to reverse engineer longevity. Only about 20% of how long we live is dictated by our genes. 80% is something else. So working with National Geographic, I spent 20 years to find and identify 5 areas where people are living the longest. And then with teams of scientists, a lot from the University of Minnesota, we went to each of these places to find the common denominators. How they eat, how they move, how they socialize, their sense of purpose, the supplements that they take, the teas they drink, the type of foods they eat. And we emerged with what I think is a very strong recipe for living an extra 10 years. If you're a middle-aged woman living in Minnesota, you could live an extra 10 years if you adopt these practices. So the value proposition is huge. Yes, you guys.
We guarantee before you leave here. No. Yeah. 10 years, that's nothing to...
Better than a gift bag.
Yeah, I have so many questions because I was telling Dan in the break that my husband and I devoured this in one sitting. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a blue zone here. We tape this show here in Minnesota. There's one here, am I right?
Well, we manufactured a blue zone, so to speak. So the core idea, if you want to live longer, don't try to change your behaviors because you'll fail. Diets, exercise programs, they last a number of months. And for things to work, to add years to our life, we have to do them every day for decades. So the insight we brought home from blue zones was to change environments. And Albert Lea, Minnesota, about 15 years ago, raised their hand, and we spent an entire 2 years changing the environment. So the healthy choice was the easy choice. Right now, you go in most food environments in America, the unhealthy choice is the easy and cheap and delicious choice. So we tried to reverse that in Albert Lea. We gave them an extra 3.2 years of life expectancy, and their health care costs went down by 40%, and it became huge national news.
You're looking at a scene from that particular episode. Dan, I was telling the producers when we were having our pre-show meeting, and I took a lot of things away, but the thing that I took away the most that really has fundamentally changed when I think about what I want to snack on is the importance of eating nuts.
Nuts, yes. Yeah.
And I know this seems like a small thing to take away from your hard work, but can you explain why, and I forgot what episode it is, my friend, but they were talking about the importance of just eating natural foods like nuts. Can you expand on that for me?
Yeah, so there's a number. First of all, in blue zones, they eat nuts, but we find that people are eating a handful of nuts a day, live about 2 years longer than people who don't eat nuts. So if you're going to snack, nuts is your best.
Right, audience? I know.
And what's more, if they're walnuts, if you're eating between 15 and 30 walnuts a day, it's worth about 3 extra years of life expectancy. So very easy longevity hack.
Jeff, can we get some walnuts in the green room, please? That's right, we got it in. What was this like? And we're going to get to the Blue Zone Kitchen in just a second. But what was the process of putting this series together like?
First of all, it was about 20 years of research, but then it took about a year and a half to get the series together, and then we went to 7 different countries. You know, I hold 3 world records for biking across 5 continents. It was far harder.
Yeah.
It was far harder to shoot a Netflix series. But the good news, Jason, 3 weeks ago, we took home 3 Emmy Awards.
Yes, you did. I know, I saw that. I got to tell you, this episode you're looking at right now, this is the Okinawa. I don't want you to rank them. I'm sure you found things that made your eyes pop out at each of them. But dollar for dollar for me, Dan, the lessons you learned in Okinawa blew me away. You feel the same way about that?
So Okinawa produced the longest lived women in the history of the world. About 30 times more women make it to age 100 than do here in the United States. And they don't do it because they have better genes. They do it because, first of all, 50% of Americans are lonely. And they have this practice called moai, which is a simple committing to a group of friends, 4 or 5 friends, who you have their back on a bad day. You can have meaningful conversations with them, and you meet up face-to-face a few times a week. And that is incredibly powerful. That's worth about 8 years of life expectancy over being lonely.
Yeah.
You know?
And sense of purpose. That's the thing that blew me away. The fact of the sense of retirement isn't a thing for them. The
most dangerous year of your adult life is the year you retire. There's a huge mortality spike that year. So being able to boulder through
You just scared the crap out of 4 to 5 people in our audience.
Here is the fix. As long as you have this purpose or this ikigai, you're volunteering, you're committed to your grandkids or your kids, you have something where you can put your passion and your values to work. Not just go down to Florida and golf or, watch reruns of Fall Guy.
I love that you pulled that ABC classic out, Dan. Yeah, that's great.
Reruns of the Jason Show.
Perfect. Thank you, Dan. Yeah. But that was another takeaway. Okay, talk to me about what I have sitting on my desk here, the Blue Zone Kitchens. What are these, my friend?
So I wrote a #1 New York Times bestseller called The Blue Zone Kitchen. And I went back to all the Blue Zones, and I found exactly how they cook. I worked with scientists to find exactly how to formulate for longevity. And these are 100% whole food with a maniacal focus on deliciousness. I had a woman spend an entire year on those 4 dishes. They're cheap. You can get them in all Whole Foods. Kowalski's, which is my own neighborhood here in Minnesota.
Hey,
they're under $8. Yeah. They take 3 minutes to make, and it's got all the secrets of longevity.
I'm eating the minestrone, and let me tell you, I've eaten my fair share, as we all have, of frozen stuff. I'm not just saying this. The audience saw my face. This is damn good. Like, this is real good.
I'm gonna pull you on that.
No, I'm not, Dan, I'm not kidding. The audience knows if I don't like something, I just don't talk about it. I'll eat it like, okay, next question.
Thank you.
This is really, really good. And I hear, don't you eat minestrone every day, don't you?
Every day.
Why?
That's my breakfast. I found the longest lived family in the history of the world, 9 siblings, collective age 860 years. Every day of their life, they ate a minestrone. Instead of a cereal, which is usually candy in America, or eggs and bacon, which are full of saturated fats, they start their day with this soup that has some beans, about 20 different kinds of vegetables, maniacally delicious, but you're getting the fiber. About 80% of Americans don't get enough fiber, and that's emerging as the #1 nutrient we're missing in our diet. One bowl of this, you get about half the fiber you need. You get those beans, which are worth about 4 extra years of life expectancy, and it's cheap, it's convenient, and it's delicious.
Dan, can we still drink wine, though?
Yes. I know everybody out. All right. No.
Audience, I'm here to ask the questions you want to know. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm very familiar with the research suggesting that, maybe alcohol isn't good for us, but I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, these people making it to 80, 90, or 100 in blue zones are drinking, 85% of them are drinking a little bit of wine every single day. So that doesn't mean if you're not drinking wine now you should start, but
Look,
maybe if
Dan,
you enjoyed a glass
the
or two.
woman in row 1 in a hat, she's clapping a lot over there. Jeff, get her some wine stat, please. There she is, yeah. But no, just like anything, it's a cliche, but moderation, right, Dan? I mean, everything is in moderation.
Yes, yeah, except for whole plant-based food.
Yeah.
You can eat as much as you want, really, and you won't get fat.
Yeah.
But yes, a little bit of wine doesn't hurt. This food, I tried to make it easy for people. People Magazine gave it their top award as the new plant-based entree. It's the #1 best-selling frozen plant-based food in America right now. I'm very proud of it. I'm not a food, I'm not a marketer.
Dan, I'm not joking. It's that minestrone. I'm going to keep it. How about coffee? Really quick.
Yes.
We have a few seconds left, but coffee.
One of the few indulgences we can enjoy with complete impunity. It's the #1 source of antioxidants in the American diet. It's associated with lower rates of type 2 diabetes and Parkinson's. Gives you energy. Just kind of cut off by noon because it might interfere with your sleep. But especially black coffee. But you really want to, if you put too much macchiato or cream and sugar in there, it's not so good for you. But a cup of black coffee, the ultimate longevity beverage.
Oh, God, Jeff drinks it every. He's going to live to 100, executive producer Jeff. That's right. Dan, thank you, my friend. Give it up for Dan Buettner, everybody. As he said, Blue Zone Kitchen you can find at Whole Foods all around the country. And watch Live to 100 on Netflix right now. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. DanBuettner.com for more. Stay with us, everybody. That was fantastic. Thank you, my friend. That is damn good, Dan.